Without a lot of introduction, I think I'm just going to start with the talk. We're talking about sustainable development, but specifically we're looking at sustainable education. The word sustainability and sustainable has been used a lot. Very often we hear it in response to the environment and nature, but we're really talking about a sustainable society, which has a lot of different aspects in it. I've put some of the definitions of what sustainability and sustainable means, but I'm not going to go through this because of the shortage of time. But probably the one that we're most familiar is the Brundtland definition that says a sustainable society is a society that meets the needs of the present generation while it does not compromise the ability of future generations to meet their own needs, and in which each human being has the opportunity to develop itself in freedom within a well-balanced society and in harmony with its surrounding. When we're talking about sustainability, we're talking about continuous change, continuous improvement, maintenance of what is around us. I come across this quote from Leo Tolstoy where he says, "Everyone thinks of changing the world, but not thinking of himself or herself." And this is really a fundamental issue to look at. We're looking at sustainability, so the kind of change that we're looking at is a transformation. Donna, I know what you mean when you say it's uncomfortable, but you can't look at the public. We're talking about transformation to a sustainable society as a dual transformation. A part cannot be independent of its whole, and the whole cannot be healthy without the health of its part. So we're talking about personal transformation and collective transformation going hand in hand. I come across a very short but very fundamental quote from Baha'u'llah, the founder of the Baha'i faith. And I think for me this is an illustration of what a true sustainable society is. He says, "All men have been created to carry forward an ever-advancing civilization. This keyword, ever-advancing civilization, should be ringing in the ear of every individual, especially those who are engaged in leading positions such as government, education, and so on. We are created to move forward an ever-advancing civilization." Now, to maintain an ever-advancing civilization, of course, we can't just talk about it, but we need to have tools and we need to get effective and run actually such a system. Again, I came across a very fundamental quotation from Baha'u'llah, and you know my job is education. I'm in love with education. I'm crazy about education. So this is one of the quotes that I love, which says, "Regard man," and man means also women. It's mostly women, actually. "Regard man as a mind rich in gems of inestimable value. Education can alone cause it to reveal its treasure and enable mankind to benefit therefrom." I mean, the image of a human being looking at a mine full of gems, and this education is this polish that really takes these gems out and polish it and let the color and the shine come out. So this is the tool with which we have to work with. And then what do we do with the tool? There's so much ahead of us. So the transformation that is to occur in the functioning of society will certainly depend to a great extent on the effectiveness of the preparation the youth make for the world they will inherit. I specifically read that very slowly and clearly. The preparation that the youth takes is really what happens to our society tomorrow. And so the youth is a very key factor. And then again, within the youth, I know all of you are youth. I stopped calling myself a youth only a few days ago. But the youth, we are specifically looking at a certain age between 12 and 15, which we call pre-youth. And this is a generation that's come out of childhood, it's moving into adulthood, and they are full of capacity, they want to be involved, and above all, they can be formed. And when I'm talking about forming, I think it was Donna who mentioned that we look at at the world from a certain view, and we put on certain glasses on our eyes. Those glasses that we put on our eyes actually are defined within those ages. So it's very important to set the values at that age. And it's really through the educational and psychological researches have been proven that it's extremely difficult to teach the individual and refine their character after this age of puberty is passed. Now, before I give the word to Noura, because it's really about what she's doing, I just want to emphasize a few things. What are we doing with these youth? What are we doing with this tremendous power that really defines the future of our society? Are we empowering them or are we exploiting them? We have to recognize the effect of propaganda and advertising on shaping the junior youth's values, attitudes, and views. I don't know how much time I've taken. I'm trying to speak very fast, but yeah, okay. I have a lot to say, that's why you have to restrain me. To create an environment in which the powers can be nurtured, and when we talk about powers, you know, we've got a funny concept of power. We think power is manipulation, but we're talking about the spiritual power within a human being. We're talking about love, justice, cooperation, and care for what is within us, next to us, and around us. And we have to enable these young people to assess and analyze the effect of the environment on their thoughts and sentiments. And that's, again, about those glasses that Donna previously mentioned. So look at what we're doing in terms of exploiting or empowering the junior youth. Of course, we know that the junior youth have a yearning to be together and belong. This is one of the biggest goals of the junior youth. So with media, with propaganda, with advertising, we create a culture to which they yearn and belong. They speak a common language, and we don't mean English or Slovak, but we mean the way they speak. They behave the same way, and above all, consume an inexhaustible assortment of products. This is what we are raising. We categorize our youth in this group is sexy, the other group is active, the other group is dynamic, and we will sell products for the sexy kids and the dynamic kids and the sporty kids and the passive kids and so on. However, take exploitation and replace it with empowerment, create an environment of joy and intimacy, mutual respect and care, speaking a common language and developing a sense of belonging where issues are discussed, skills and competencies are built, need for services recognized, these projects of services are planned, and above all, and I've written that in capital letters, a sense of purpose is developed. I'm going to pass it on now to Noura. Noura is a fantastic example for me. I love this girl. She's full of energy. But one of the things that she has done is she's a member of the Baha'i community as well as I am. And one of the programs that has been running for the last few years is focused on the education of the junior youth. And this is nothing that is dependent on either the politics or the educational authorities. This is something that happens on the grassroots, and it can be done through schools, clubs, or even within neighborhood. I'm going to pass it on to you so that you have enough time. Oh, you don't need it. So,
okay, so first of all, I just wanted to start and say, please can everybody just close their eyes. I can't see you, but I'm just going to take it for granted that you're doing it. So now think of what comes to your mind when I say the word teenager, or especially the age of 12 to 15, so junior youth. If any negative ideas have just come to your head, snap out of it. It's wrong, and so now you can open your eyes. We Baha'is see this as a special age. It's a time for preparation, even though people generally see teenage years as a troublesome period. So it is on our shoulders that lays the responsibility for the upkeep of the spirit of selfless service. And without the spirit, no work can be successfully achieved, and there could be no sustainable outcome. So working with junior youth offers us the opportunity to examine our own goals and priorities, as well as helping them find their own talent, see what they're good at, and what they would like to do in later life. And as they're the future, that's quite important. By the age of 12, many transitions have begun to appear, and many youngsters will grow more in the next 3 years than in the rest of their lives. So gradually during this period, a new level of awareness manifests itself, and one's talents and abilities unfold, particularly in the context of one's relationships with peers and adults. And that's why some parents think that they're rebelling, but actually it's not true. So junior youth are agents of change, and as they're the future, this is quite important. So by only spending a little time with them, you'll realize that they have the strength and creativity to construct a better society. However, the way younger people are seen by others really affects them. So if everybody around them looks down at them, thinks of them in a negative way, thinks that they can't really change anything, this will come on to them, and in the end, they'll be actually thinking the same thing, and they'll think that they can't do anything. So at this stage, they also get a strong sense of justice. So it starts forming within them, and that's why many people hear the phrase, "it's not fair," which is something that I'm sure that I've used lots of times as well, but it's just the fact that they have this strong sense of justice. So we animators are basically trying to help the junior youth to acquire these gem-like qualities that lie hidden within the mind of their true and inmost selves. So what we're trying to do is help them polish these gems that they have hidden inside of them, help them find these talents, and so that we can get this spiritually prosperous world civilization. So a normal junior youth group meets once a week for a couple hours, 2 hours, that much, and they study materials that have been specifically developed for this age, so for the age of 12 to 15. And however, this isn't the only thing that we do together. Together, we engage in artistic activities. They do some art, we also do some sports, physical education, and consult on, plan, and evaluate service projects, which is their own idea. They can choose what they want to do, and I'll talk about that a bit later. So there are a number of concepts associated with these service projects by junior youth. Among them is excitement and the freedom to pursue whatever possibility captures their imagination. It's very interesting to actually, it's quite breathtaking to hear some of the ideas that comes to their minds, as it's scientifically proven that the older a person gets, the less creative they are. I know it's a very sad thing, but it's true. So these young junior youth, they have many ideas. They think of a lot better service projects or things that can happen around the world rather than what maybe me or you guys could think of. So we're all learning the art of discipline of systematic action, which also really helps them think of that when you do service projects, as they have to plan it, they actually take part in the service project, and then they evaluate it and see how they can help it and improve it. So some service projects that junior youth in Bratislava came up with are they planted trees in the parks, they cleaned playgrounds so that it's not so dangerous for the children, so the rubbish that people leave behind. We made plaques to support cleanliness in the street, to tell people to throw their rubbish into the actual bins rather than just throwing them on the floor. And making brownies to give to neighbors for the neighborhood building, just to make better friends with the people around them. And the all-time favorite is doing children classes, so teaching moral and spiritual education to younger children, which is something that they really love to do. So I'll give it back to Zarin.
So, yes, absolutely. And when she's talking about these hours, for example, she mentioned arts and so on. It's not just some coloring, you know. I think in Slovakia we're used to having these kruškis, what you call them, the afternoon classes where the kids are busy, which are wonderful things to do. But basically the kids are actually giving an understanding of the choice of music, the choice of media they're using. Why do you like this music, and how would it be different, and how would you do it? And so basically these young people are challenged to find out, to set their own values and standards, and not be just doing things the way they're told. So there is a lot of that happening. One of the things that they're doing is improving the power of expression. And so there is a lot of language, use of language ability is involved in this program. And we're not talking about teaching them English or Slovak again, but how often have you seen, how many times a Californian youth uses I was so like, oh my God. And so this is, they have to be able to express themselves, because the expression of thought comes from the eloquence of the language, and I think that's something that they work. She mentioned services. By doing services, what they're actually doing is really they're giving these youth to take charge of their own development and contribute to the progress of their neighborhood. And they've done amazing work. In the neighborhood where she works, actually all of the neighbors are friends now, and they're moving into each other's homes and having fun together and taking care of each other's kids. So there's marvelous things happening there. They're communicating with parents and involving them strongly. I want to read this for you, what it is. This is my resume of what I've observed their workshop to be. It's a regular gathering of junior youth in an environment of mutual respect, friendly and intimate. It's fun but not frivolous, where they develop a sense of belonging, be guided systematically to discover and to learn, express thoughts, look for answers, learn to listen, to speak, to reflect, to analyze, to make decisions, and to act on their decisions. If somebody had taught me those things, I think I would have been very, very successful in life. This is a quote I'm going to pass by because I don't want to take too much time. What can you do? What is your role? I think the title is gone here, but the title was, what is your role in this? And I would like you please to pay attention that everybody can participate and become either an animator or a mentor. There is training for that. You can ask your schools, culture centers, or so on to offer this program. You can talk to parents of junior youth that you know, or the junior youth that you know. Talk to them about this, and you can offer your own skills and know-how and do some of the activities with them. Or if you have any possibilities for service, there's an elderly home or something that you know they need help, you can ask them. Again, this is my emphasis, and I would like you very much to take this from today, from the two of us. We all play a role in our common transformation to a sustainable society. Thank you very much for your attention.